So we're both recording this time, Adam?
We are recording, okay?
You sure?
Yes.
You sure? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Storytime Podcast. I'm Tim.
And I'm Adam.
And this is where we go through my first novel I ever wrote and completed, Angelic Wars, Legend of the Godchild. Angelic Wars, Book 1. There is no Book 2. No. We're Adam of ZOP Gaming, as you know.
Yeah, if you're ever into mediocre gaming, the best mediocre gaming ever, we are quote-unquote pros.
They're mid. They're so mid at gaming. He's reading a chapter of the book, then we discuss it afterwards. But before we get to that reading, if you go on to enjoy this video, we'd love it if you smash that like button. Yep, smash it, Adam.
Smash it.
Faster.
Smash
harder.
It. Smash it harder.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I'm smashing it.
Yeah. And do it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe to other content on this channel. With all that stuff out of the way, and check out Adam's channel.
ZOP Gaming.
If you're really, really bored. Only then. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get to the reading.
Chapter 23. Coral Dagger. Natalie emerged from the path that led to the hot spring. Her hair was still wet, and she was wearing clean clothes. After setting down her dirty ones next to her bag, she walked over to the fire and placed 2 logs on it to keep it going. She then searched the bag for her brush. After finding it, she quickly brushed her hair and returned it to the pocket. After placing the brush in her bag, she stood up and looked around and saw that Sage was not back yet. Wondering what was taking him so long, she walked over to the edge of the cave and checked the sky. Nothing. Sage, what's taking you so long? She asked herself. Are you ever going to come back? A wind blew across the entrance of the cave, which chilled her, so she went back inside the cave. She grabbed the book she had been reading and took a seat upon a seat. No, I can't do that. I can't. She grabbed the book she had been reading and took a seat beside the fire, which was now blazing from the 2 logs she put in only a few minutes ago. Several minutes went by, and Natalie seemed to be having trouble focusing on what she was reading. Every few minutes, she would lower her book, thinking she heard something outside. However, when she tried to see if she could hear it again, nothing came. Finally, she knew she heard something outside. So she hopped up and walked over to the entrance. She looked out and she saw nothing. If it wasn't Sage, Natalie said, what did I hear? The bush at the beginning of the path near the clearing where Cyrus landed began to move. Natalie slowly began to walk down the path to see what was causing the bush to move. When she got about halfway down the path, a dragpent jumped out of the bush and began to charge her. Natalie, realizing she didn't have the dagger with her, turned around and headed back up the path. When she reached the entrance of the cave, the dragpent grabbed her leg, causing her to trip. She quickly turned and began to kick the creature in its face. The creature let go long enough for Natalie to get back to her feet. She ran into the cave. As soon as she entered the cave, she saw the coral dagger lying on her sleeping bag right where she left it before she went to the hot spring. She ran over and picked it up. As soon as she grabbed the dagger, the dragpent slashed her in the back, causing a terrible burning sensation. Arg! Natalie shouted in pain. Natalie turned around quickly as the creature grabbed her free hand. It pulled her close to itself. As soon as she was within the reach of the creature's chest, she shoved the coral dagger right where the creature's heart would have been, if it had one. Instantly, the dragpent's head shot back, and very pure and bright light shot out of its mouth and eyes. The creature threw Natalie back as it began to struggle from the outrageous suffering. It searched all over looking for the source, but it had been removed when Natalie was thrown. She still held the dagger at the time. Natalie slowly raised her head, watching as cracks appeared across the scales of the creature. The dragpent let out an ear-piercing noise that caused her to cover her ears. The pure bright light began to come out of the cracks of the skin. In a bright flash, the creature exploded, killing it and shattering the skin into dust. Natalie quickly turned her head from such bright light. The light quickly faded, and Natalie turned back to see the creature was gone. There was no evidence that even showed the creature had been standing in the spot. After a moment of resting, she realized the burning sensation had left as soon as the drag pent was killed. "How did they find me?" Natalie wondered. "I thought they didn't know of the location. Come on, Sage, get back here." Natalie stood up and walked over and grabbed her sleeping bag. She then moved to the entrance of the path that led to the hot springs. She wanted to have an advantage over any other creature that came. Once in the path, she put the sleeping bag around her, making it harder to see in the dark corner. "I dare another creature to come and try anything," Natalie said. "I should have never set this dagger down. I won't until Sage returns." Natalie sat in the corner of the cave right next to the path for several minutes. About halfway through, she ran back over to the fire and placed more logs on it to keep it going. She could feel the fire just enough from where she was hiding. After about 10 minutes, Natalie saw a shadow on the entrance of the cave, as if whatever caused it was flying overhead. "He's back," Natalie said as she stood up and dropped the sleeping bag, still holding onto the dagger. She began to walk towards the cave entrance. As she took a step, a dark hand shot out of the path entrance and grabbed her shoulder. She turned quickly to see a shadkin had been watching her from behind the path. She turned and tried to stab the creature with the coral dagger, but before she could, the creature shoved her to the ground. Natalie rolled across the floor of the cave. When she stopped, she started to get back up. When she looked up, the shadkin charged at her and brought the huge blade on its arm down on her. She blocked it with the dagger. Surprised she successfully blocked the attack by using all of her strength, she forced the shadkin's blade to the side, then slashed at it. She caught it across the gut and followed it up, and sliced right through the huge sleeve that the blade came from. The shadkin stumbled backwards and shrieked from the two attacks that hit it. Natalie, feeling very confident, had a huge smile on her face. It quickly vanished when the slash on the gut healed and the blade grew right back. Before she could think of it, she charged at the creature, hoping to pierce it with the dagger, causing it to go to the abyss, the same way she sent the drag pent. Before she could reach it, the creature hit her with its other arm, sending her to the ground. The creature hit her right in the face. As she tried to stand up, her body was too frail from the last blow. The shadkin, seeing she couldn't block it if she wanted to, charged. The creature reached her and slashed her across her chest with its huge blade. The blade cut right through her shirt and across her... The blade cut right through her shirt and cut her across the bottom part of the rib cage. "Arg!" Natalie shouted, grabbing her ribs as she dropped to her knees. She let go of the dagger and tears began to flow from her eyes. Doubts that she would survive filled her head very quickly. After a moment of crying, she removed her hand and saw the blood that came from the wound. She checked and saw the cut was not deep and was only bleeding a little. She again looked at the blood on her hand. She remembered that the voice in her dream said she would make it through this ordeal alive. After the encouraging words, she closed her eyes and whispered a quick prayer before grabbing the dagger and rising to her feet with new life. The shadkin was surprised to see her stand up after such a power punch and slash. Not caring, it again charged and slashed at her with its blade. Natalie, not knowing how, sidestepped the attack and brought the dagger up and caught the creature right across the face. She slashed him from bottom of the jaw across its dark red eye to its ear. The shadkin began to shriek, grabbing its face. A little light came from the cut, and the creature pulled back its hands. The light quickly flashed as the shadkin's head crumbled into dust. Natalie lowered the dagger and took a deep breath. How did I do that? She wondered. I just remember asking the Almighty to help me. I guess what Cyrus and Sage have been telling me is true. Before Natalie could catch her breath, three more Shadkins appeared from the darkness, as well as 3 Dragprints entered the cave entrance. They did not move from their spot. A moment later, Natalie picked up her head and saw the Shadkins standing only a few feet in front of her. Then one of the Dragprints growled to make her aware of their presence. What am I going to do now? Natalie asked. I could still use your help. Just then, the 3 Shadkins charged at her as well as the Dragprints. Natalie ran towards the far wall, and when she got there, she turned to face her attackers. They closed in on her, but as soon as they came into strike, Natalie raised the dagger. Before the strikes hit the dagger, it began to glow very bright and stopped the creature's attacks. The dagger extended into a sword. Natalie was shocked by what happened. Cyrus didn't say this thing could become a sword, Natalie said to herself. Did he know it could do this? The creatures, who also surprised by what happened, looked at each other, but then quickly attacked again. Natalie, using the coral sword now, defended herself against the attacks. However, she didn't do a good job. She would block one, but then get struck by another one of the creatures. After being forced to take a step back towards the wall, she lunged at the closest Shadkin. The creature blocked the attack and lifted the sword up. As the Shadkin held the sword in the air, one of the Dragprints came in and slashed her with its long nails, right across the stomach. One of the nails caught the cut the first Shadkin caught her. Natalie let go of the sword, which fell to the cave floor. She grabbed her stomach and was backhanded by the same Dragprint. She flew, and her back nailed the cave wall, and she fell to the ground, retching in pain from the slash and the burning sensation. Tears began to flow from her eyes. Suddenly another Dragprint slashed her across her back, going over the scratches she had already received. She looked up and saw one of the Shadkins was bringing its blade down on her back. Not having enough energy to move, she laid waiting to die. The next thing she realized was the blade struck the ground right next to her head. She looked, and somehow she moved out of the way. The rest of the creatures tried to deal with the death blow, but Natalie continued to roll out of the way. Doing her best to ignore the pain, she tried to make her way to the sword. After several moves, she reached the sword and continued to roll. Natalie somehow managed to escape the circles of the creatures. When she was far enough away from them, she tried to get back to her feet. Before she could fully stand up, one of the Shadkins rammed her, sending her back to the floor of the cave. Natalie tried to get back to her feet. Slowly she stood up, but her body was barely able to keep her up. The Dragprints and the Shadkins realized she had nothing left, so they charged her. Moments before the creatures reached her, she fell to her knees, and then her body fell forward. As she hit the ground, her right hand, still holding the sword, jammed it into the ground as it hit. Instantly, the cave began to shake, and cracks started to appear all over. The bright and pure light began to seep out of the cracks and went all over the place. The creatures were hit by several of the beams of light, and quickly began to shriek from the suffering. Within seconds, the light exploded through the cracks and engulfed everything in the cave. The cave stayed lit up for several seconds before fading. The floor of the cave now had a big hole in it. The hole went down about 10 feet deep and was about 6 to 7 feet wide. Natalie's arm hung over the edge of the hole. The dagger slowly slipped from her fingers and into the hole. Several minutes later, Natalie heard a very familiar voice. Natalie, a voice said. Natalie, wake up. Please don't die. Natalie slowly began to open her eyes, and as they began to focus, the image of her sister became clear. Once she realized who was holding her head, she shot up and grabbed her and gave her a big hug. You're safe, Natalie said. It's about time you and Sage got back. Natalie, Kiana said, we aren't safe. Natalie pulled away and looked at her sister. She had a scared look on her face. She then noticed someone standing a few feet from her, so she slowly looked up, and there stood Monono.
You have been causing me more trouble than I wanted,
Monono said, grabbing Natalie's shirt and lifting her up until she was face to face with him.
Now I have the scroll, and I have you. It is time for you to die.
Just then, 3 men walked in wearing black robes with their hoods covering their faces. They quickly walked over to Monono. Master?
Can't you see I'm busy?
Monono said. Michael is on his way here, another said. He should be here at any moment, the third said. Monono set down Natalie and walked over towards the cave entrance and looked into the night sky and saw in the distance something flying right for the cave. Monono began to speak with the 3 men. Meanwhile, while Monono was talking to the 3 men, Kiana grabbed Natalie and pulled her over to the corner. Take this, Kiana said, handing her the weapon that Cyrus gave her. What is it? Natalie asked. It's like a bomb, Kiana said. Cyrus gave it to me before he left me in the cabin. All you need to do is press the top button down. To activate it, press the button again, then shove it into the ground or something and let go. Within seconds, a light so bright will erupt from it. That should take care of Monono. Thanks, Natalie said. I have my own weapon. Wait, where did it go? What weapon? Kiana asked. Cyrus gave me a dagger that turned into a sword, Natalie said. I had it while I was fighting the creatures. I wonder if it fell in the hole, Kiana said, pointing to the hole over where they were before Monono picked her up. No, Natalie said. I guess I do need your weapon. Here, Kiana said. Quick, hide it. Monono is on his way over. Natalie quickly pressed the top button, then put it into her pocket. Monono was now walking over to them. The 3 men whom he was talking to were now gone.
You will not get away this time,
Monono said.
I will kill you now.
Kiana, Natalie said, when I say run, I want you to run into the cave entrance and down the path as fast as you can. Okay, Kiana said. Monono reached them and blocked them from trying to move. Natalie stood, putting Kiana behind her. Monono grabbed her by the shirt and pulled her close to him.
Now you die,
Monono said. We'll see about that, Natalie said, with boldness and courage. Kiana, run! Kiana ran right past Monono and Natalie. Monono turned and, letting go of Natalie, went to grab her. Natalie quickly grabbed the weapon Kiana gave her from her pocket and pressed and held the button. Monono? Natalie said. Monono turned back to see what Natalie wanted. She quickly shoved the weapon right into his chest. She let go of the top button. Monono recognized what she had just shoved into his chest, so he grabbed it as she ran past him. Once he pulled it from his chest, he threw it into the air and began to run. Natalie reached the cave entrance as the light from the weapon exploded through the cave. Monono was engulfed by the light.
Coral dagger, Adam.
Coral.
Coral dagger is how you say it. That's how you say it.
Coral dagger.
Coral dagger. Say it.
You know what? The editor will probably cut out my terrible pronunciation and force me to go back and record it a second time.
The editor has tried that. You've refused.
They don't call me One Take Adam for nothing.
There's more than one reason why they call you that.
It's because I'm that bad. They're like, just get it done.
In bed.
What? How dare my none of my lady friends would ever speak ill of me. They would. They would a lot.
All right.
Anyway,
So,
yes.
what do you think of this chapter, Adam?
Wow. Look, I'm just gonna be real honest.
Okay.
How dare Star Wars rip you off like that?
I know. I'm totally gonna sue.
I can't believe it.
I'm suing Lucasfilms, Disney.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they clearly stole Rey and the Force working through her in Force Awakens from my novel.
Absolutely.
Where
I saw it.
Natalie
Gets used by the Almighty.
Yes, used.
Yeah.
Not worked through. Used.
Yeah. So Natalie's a weird one because, first of all, she's inside. Okay, look, I know that this is. She's inside the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow can see outside the cave, down the path at a bush at night.
She went out to the.
Why?
Because she's a teenager?
Ah, for crying out loud.
And it's a YA novel?
This is, you know what? Maybe the Shadow Master was right. YA novels are terrible, and they just, every single one of them wants to murder children.
Yes, they do. But, yeah, by the way...
You somehow did not murder any children in this episode. Can you look directly into the mic when talking?
I'm trying to find a
So
spot.
bring it over. See, there... Oh, for crying out loud. See, there you go.
Okay.
And he thought that he worked in production.
I did work in production.
You were...
Yeah, I'm looking for a specific thing.
Yeah, you
And
are.
I'm just trying to figure out where it is.
Oh, and by the way, nobody explained that the dagger would become a sword. What the hell?
I think it was one of those things where I wanted it to be a surprise, or I thought of it in the moment and said, cool! I don't have to explain this.
I had a problem with the 6 other bad guys showing up. That was a moment of, oh, look, more bad guys. Don't worry, she'll get through it. It'll be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Hey, you ripped off my joke. I'm still trying to find the spot where
You wrote your notes not even an hour ago.
Yeah, it was further up than I thought it was.
Ah.
Yeah. First off, before we go to my joke that you stole.
Yes.
Horror 101. Don't go check on what's making the noise or the rustling of the bush.
No.
Come on, Natalie.
Just leave it alone.
Even in 2005, 2004, whenever I wrote this version of it, even you should have known that by then. People were talking about those tropes.
Yeah.
Come on. But anyway, back to the joke you tried to steal and butchered.
That no, I didn't.
You butchered it.
I did a great job.
You totally butchered it. So, yes. Pitch meeting from a writer to an agent. So, Natalie's going to be swarmed by a bunch of dark creatures. Agent. Wow, that's going to be super hard for Natalie to survive. Writer. No, it's going to be super easy, barely inconvenience. Agent. Oh, really? How? Oh, yeah. Magic sword. And the Almighty acting through her. Agent. Don't you think that's going to undermine the character arc? Writer. Not at all. Agent. Oh, good.
Yes. And she accidentally does the one thing that Cyrus was like, don't ever do this. He was like, oops, stab.
And
the ground.
I remember that whole scene, the whole purpose of that was in there.
Yeah.
Was to show even angels thought it was impossible to survive. For the Almighty to act upon her to survive.
That's true.
To
That's
show
true.
his power
Yeah.
and everything. As the message of this non-Christian, totally non-Christian
Totally not.
novel
No.
to witness to the power of God to people. He said totally. And
Yeah.
Natalie didn't once at all say a prayer to him. Oh, by the way.
Even though she does say at one point, I sent up a little prayer.
I know. That's like, and my response to this is, sure, the Almighty cares about you. You're not his entertainment.
Yeah, how do we know that? How do we know that all of this wasn't planned?
Oh, and by the way, Adam,
Yeah.
it's arg.
Arg. A-R-G-H.
No, Adam, it's arg, like a pirate.
No, Natalie did not become a pirate.
When you first did that, I had that. No, Adam, it's arg, like a pilot. I scratched that part off there because when you did it again, I was like, no, Adam, it's arg, like a pirate.
That was just one of those things that the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, I am not doing this in Natalie's voice because it's just A-R-G-H, which is pronounced arg.
Oh, and by the way, so Adam, I have a question about this. Maybe you might be able to answer this question.
Yeah.
Even though I wrote this, maybe you can answer this question for me.
All right.
This is a safe haven of the righteous. Why does Natalie need to put logs on the fire?
I don't
Shouldn't
know.
she just like meant to be able to adjust it or something like that? Like, even if she's not magic, to still be able to.
Just maybe she's not doing it. It's a perpetually burning fire now.
Again, and then I point later on when she talks about throwing more logs on. Again, shouldn't she have to not put more logs on it? And shouldn't she be able to feel the heat exactly the same temperature no matter where she is in the cave?
No.
I mean, it's magic, right?
Yeah, no. Just no. It's interesting. I also like the fact that she's hiding in the shadows. The fire goes down a little bit, and she's like, hold on, everybody. I'm going to come out of my hiding spot, put some more logs on,
Well, it's cold.
and then go back into my hiding spot.
Even with a sleeping bag, she's cold. She needs to keep that heat up. That's my point.
No.
It's
We're in a magic spot.
Shouldn't it be like? Shouldn't it be like? It can not even really be a fire. It should just be like look like a fire to provide light
Exactly.
and heat, but it's not
That's it.
actually burning anything.
It's not. No, it's a source.
It's the burning bush.
Bush, 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 bush.
Oh, sorry, I did that wrong.
It's the burning bush, 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 bush.
Burning bush, 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 which is now actually on my channel. So people, if they listen to it, they can get that joke.
If they listen to it.
Exactly. Which has been going on. That joke has been going on for years. Burning bush, 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 bush.
7-8 years now,
Yeah.
something like that.
2018 is when we started doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So about almost.
Almost 8 years.
Yeah, it's almost 8 years.
Yep.
It was mostly on your channel and for Wrestle Talk.
But
not
whatever.
Wrestle Talk. As the buckle turns, but
Whatever on
then
those.
you just randomly go burning bush, bush, bush.
Hey, sometimes you got to bring out a burning bush, 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 bush.
Yes. But yeah, a burning bush, 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 bush is burning in providing heat and light. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't have to provide heat. Keep throwing stuff on there. But also, oh yeah, I forgot. Cyrus gave Kiana a crystal pen weapon.
Yeah.
thingy.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
And he told her not to stab it into anyone, though.
I don't think he did. You're thinking of the stabbing into the ground of the coral dagger.
Maybe.
He said nothing about stabbing the coral sword into the ground, though. So,
yeah, that's totally-
that's how she totally survived. It's the dagger
No.
form you can't stab in. Sword, totally okay.
That's just... Look, I'm going to be real honest with you. It's an okay scene as part of a different chapter.
Yes. I knew this scene. I wanted that to happen. I think originally it was she does that fighting Monono. Sorry.
Okay.
Monono!
Gotta love that guy.
I think it because...
In his ever-changing voice.
And I think that was the original why. Like, she gets beaten up, and she does collapse and accidentally stabs it. And then, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna ruin this for the next
Oh
episode.
God, no! Don't do
But,
that. Don't do that. Just good night, everyone. If this is where you're, because he's never gonna stop. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good
If
one.
you don't want spoilers for the next episode,
just end right here.
And it's only for the beginning of the chapter. It's not for the full chapter.
Okay.
Remember, Cyrus told Kiana this weapon would not really harm Monono.
Exactly.
Sorry, again, I'm messing up his name up. Monono! He says that.
Are you saying that Monono survived this?
No.
No way.
No,
That the big bad end
no.
guy.
No. I'm pointing that out for a reason. He says it would not really hurt Monono.
Yes.
Again, sorry. Monono! That's my
looked-
my news thing for this episode.
I-
I'm going to say his name one way and then I have to correct myself.
So
sorry.
I
But
took-
no. Oh, no. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Because you quickly find out it does a lot more damage than what Cyrus told to the point where he's about to go to the abyss.
What the?
I think what happened was the original plan was he survives the stabbing of the coral sword in.
Okay.
But he's hurt. This almost finishes him off.
Okay, that would be a lot better.
But when I changed it to her fighting, I didn't like that her fighting Monono or something. Sorry, Monono. I keep actually meaning to say his name, Monono, but it's actually not, and so I just keep doing that. Anyway, but for some reason I changed it to her fighting dragpins, shadkins, and then just using that thing there.
And a random shadpent.
Or I forgot. I remembered that she had that, and Kiana never used it, so I decided to put that in here and totally up its power. Because remember,
Yeah.
Cyrus is a common angel. He doesn't know what
Exactly.
but he's the Almighty. I mean, wait, what?
You've dropped the hints on this already.
He is not supposed to be Almighty, but there's so many goddamn little things that I can't believe I put in there. They were honestly, they were on accident. They were not me purposely.
I can
teasing.
tell.
Like they were, but seeing it now, I'm like, oh, wait, wow. Was I subconsciously trying to make Cyrus the Almighty?
You could have been.
Because the original plan for Cyrus, because when I originally came up with this idea, was I wanted like a common angel who would, in a sense, be promoted to different angel forms and ranks. So he'd have more power as he went on.
Okay.
And that's why I created Cyrus, therefore. But Lily just said, nope, he's the Almighty, apparently, in the back of my mind.
You were like, nah.
No, see, conscious mind was doing that. Subconscious like, no, he's totally Almighty. And then he's like,
he's the big guy.
Nah, never mind.
He's down here for a little bit. Or the Almighty is working through him.
No. Those hints are clearly that he is supposed to be Almighty.
I know.
But still, like the fact that has happened subconsciously in my first novel, that I put something else in there, creeps me out.
Well, these things happen.
And no, I'll be honest. It also very well could be those hints came when I made this draft. They may not have been there the first draft, my original draft. But there's only certain things. When I did different cuts of the draft, I wasn't rewriting the entire thing. So some of these things were probably already there, but they make more towards the Almighty with the ones I actually changed for the cut.
Could be.
Possibly. I don't know. I don't remember. I have ideas of what my original draft was.
It's been a long time.
But I don't have that draft anymore. I only have this one. They got saved and encrypted because I was afraid someone was going to steal my work.
Disney.
Yeah, Disney. I'm coming for you.
We see what you did.
It might be in about 50 years, but I'm coming for you.
It's going to happen. Disney stole that.
Oh, also, by the way, when Natalie tells Kiana to run, she says, run into the cave entrance. So she's running back into the cave they're already in?
I
didn't realize it was like running into the cave that had the same path that was on the inside.
I don't know.
It's like a mirror type of thing, just to kind of show the imagery.
No, just run into the entrance. You'll go into the outside world.
Run out. So, in other words, she should have said, run out of the cave, down the path, not into the cave entrance, and re-enter this cave. Oh, Monono put up a little spell there, so if you run out of the cave, you're running back in.
But if you are trying to run in, you actually end up running out. See? It's all in how you interpret what you're doing.
when I read that.
I misspoke.
Maybe. I probably wrote that, honestly. But, like, even when I transcribed this, I didn't even catch on to that. So, I don't know. But, yeah. It's definitely an interesting chapter. Trying to find it. So I gotta fill the silence by talking. So you're telling me
Yes.
So we finally have the Tim Show. I don't want the Tim Show on this channel. That joke only works on your channel. I'm taking over your channel.
Well,
you still can't find it. It's okay. It's too much work. Here's what we'll do, Adam. You can find it afterwards. We wrap up the show, and if you find it, we can mention it in the next episode. So, people, you have a reason to tune into.
Oh, it's run to the cave entrance.
Yeah, you misspoke.
And I said into. Sorry about that.
Finally, for a mistake that wasn't because of my
misspoke.
writing. My writing didn't mess up. Adam
Run
just messed
to
up.
the cave entrance. Don't go outside. Just go to the entrance.
You'll be totally fine if you get to the cave entrance.
Which it's a cave, so I mean we could probably see it from here.
You mean the energy, the explosion won't come past that if you go to the cave entrance. But if you go out of the cave entrance, the outside, or stay into the cave, but not just enough into the cave entrance, you will be affected by the explosion. There's a magical barrier there that no one told Natalie about.
Glad the sisters are able to get out of this.
Or do they? Oh, spoiler alert! Everyone dies.
Yeah, everyone's dead. That's actually the end of the story right there.
Yeah, it's just right there. No more.
Boom, done.
I've been telling you there's been 25 chapters. Wrong.
23.
Yeah, it's only 23. Yeah, nope. There's totally not 2 more chapters. This was the end.
It's
probably a better ending than what I come up with.
Just boom, it explodes.
Done.
Game over.
Game over.
Monono is engulfed in the light. We're done here.
Yeah, we're done. We're done here.
On that note,
anything else you want to add to this episode, Adam?
No, that's good.
Well, we only have 2 more chapters left.
I can't wait
It's gonna be
until this is finished.
So am I. Wow. Okay, before we wrap up, overall thoughts going into the climax. We're literally going into the climax in the next 2 chapters. Thoughts so far on the overall story.
Okay.
So you're basically gonna say, let me guess, you got something here. It needs a rewrite, but you got something here.
You lost your main character so early. And honestly, you have your 2 MacGuffins as your main characters. Like, Sage is the main character. Cyrus should be his sidekick, who's like guy who's guiding him. The Obi-Wan to Luke. Mm-hmm. The Yoda to Luke. That's what Cyrus should have been to Sage. While your 2 side characters, who are super important, and they carry the plans to the Death Star, your R2 and C-3PO.
We're not doing a Star Wars. I'm not trying to write Star Wars, Adam.
No, but it still works.
Where's my Han Solo, then? Where's my Princess Leia?
We do have a problem with that. Raven is your Princess Leia, but you kill her off super early.
I potentially kill her off super early.
Yes.
Keyword, potentially.
She's dead, dude. According to the story so far, she's dead.
Yeah, she's dead.
She's dead as hell.
I don't keep bringing up potentially.
Cyrus is also your Han Solo.
I keep saying she's potentially dead, or these hints as maybe we'll finally get something in the next 2 chapters about her fate. Maybe. Or do it. I'm trying to remember, honestly.
We never revisit this.
I think
she gets shot in the stomach and is dead.
I may have been trying to remember, like, I planned on putting something in there, and maybe not. I don't know, and I've transcribed the ending already, so I can't remember or not. We'll have to see. All right, we'll wrap this thing up. What do you think of this story so far? Let us know down in the comment section. Are you enjoying it? Do you think I have something here? Or do you think I was right that I lost the story a long time ago and we just need to go back to the planning stages if I was to rewrite this?
Yeah.
Say that down. Tell me down below. If you made it this far, we're assuming you're enjoying this podcast. So why don't you go and hit that like button, and don't just shatter it, sacrifice it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because got running content on this channel. It'll be on screen now. And if you don't want running content right now, go check out Adam's terrible gameplay channel.
ZOP Gaming.
Yeah, no one's gonna check it out, Adam,
What?
because you're totally mid. Anyway, pick something. We'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
See ya.
I finished talking. You don't say anything.
Sorry.
I say it.
Sorry, I won't.
dare you.
I won't be the last person to talk during an episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.